I'm Harvey. I'm a volunteer at the Townsville Museum and Historical Society. I've actually worked here for 12 years now. We have to learn from the past, and also this is an avenue into the past. It manages to let us explore so many different areas of the past. For instance, the houses not far from here, they were used by the Americans during the war, and most of the people are aware that the Americans commandeered their particular house and lived in them during the war. A chap came in yesterday and showed us a whole lot of photos of himself with American troops, and he was employed as a 15-year-old boy to work with the Americans. To me it was just a few figures in the front, but what I saw were the tents that the American Army used in the Second World War, because they were immediately behind them. So what one person sees in a photo and what someone else sees in a photo can be totally different. Well, one photograph that we have in the museum is of the ceiling of the old Queen's Hotel, and my grandfather actually did that ceiling. He was a bricklayer and plasterer, and he actually did the ceiling there, not by moulding it, but by a trowel. So to me that tells a very interesting family story. He also worked on the railway station because he was a bricklayer and plasterer. If you want to see good old-fashioned brickwork, go and have a look at the railway station, particularly the curved places where the bricks have all been cut and to make these beautiful curves. First house in Townsville, built by Back in 1865, and they built that using the timber that they cut from Humbaloona, which was a lagoon down at the end of Mitchell Street in North Ward. This is the Japanese embassy in Townsville. Japanese consulate actually from 1896 to 1908 in there. The Ongala that went down, it's only about 50 k's from Townsville. This little picture says that Townsville had 26 bombs dropped on it. Yesterday, where a chap came in and said he actually watched the tracer bullets going past one of the planes that dropped the bombs at Garbutt. Well, this was the boys' school, that was a girls' school for Central School, and they moved that down to where the jail was. The jail was moved to Stewart, and later on they built the old hospital, the white building facing the sea, which isn't occupied now. This was a beautiful building, Buchanan's Hotel. Look at the beautiful lacework. They call it lacework, it's the ironwork on the front. Had a little fire there, and within no time they'd knocked the whole building down. Well, this is one of the Townsville's first post and telegraph offices, and it opened in 1879. Many years later it of course became the brewery. During the war they knocked part of this top off and lowered the top, and then they had to replace it after the war. They were frightened that the enemy could line up Flinders Street by looking at that when they were bombing Townsville. This was the brewery, then it became a car sales, then was decrepit for donkey's years, and eventually became the Playpen, I think, or something like that, some nightclub. As far as we know, this is the first mobile phone in Townsville, only 1989, so it's not all that long ago. The only problem was you had to carry two of those at the same time as that mobile phone. And with this, they could actually send a Morse code message to a ship as far away as England. You didn't open that with your watch on because your watch would stop from the amount of electricity. Now with this, they could send a voice message throughout the world. And now, with one of these things, you can talk to anyone, anywhere in the world. To me, that is technology.